Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. This video marks my 200th tutorial, which is huge for me considering how much time, thought, and work I put into every single video I make. Now I know 200 might not seem very big to other YouTubers that have thousands and thousands of videos, but because I put so much work into every single video I make, 200 is pretty big for me. So thank you so much for watching, and for this tutorial I'm going to make a gorgeous pendant using beads from the dollar bead box. Now I've actually designed two different pendants from the dollar bead box, and the box I'm using is November 2017. The smaller pendant I made, I actually just filmed it, but I'm thinking that I'm probably going to upload the larger one first. Yeah, I think I might do that. So this big pendant I made, I want to show you what it looks like, but I can't because I had to take it apart so I can make it in the video, and I don't have enough materials to make one pendant. But I didn't realize until after I made this pendant that it's very similar to a pendant I made a few years ago. And here it is. It's this starfish. That's at least what I call it. I got this bag from Goodwill, and I thought it was kind of plain. It doesn't have a lot of beads on it, as you could see the fabric in it. But I kind of thought that this looked like sea fans that are in the ocean, and I thought that this would make a perfect centerpiece for this bag, and it would really improve it because I kind of felt like it was plain. So I sewed it on here, and I just sewed the points of the star onto this bag, and I used paper beads to make this. I have a tutorial for this star if you want to make it. I will leave a link for it down there in the description bar. But anyways, this star here, I made it as a pendant, and I realized it would look good on this, so I just sewed it on here. But you can use this different ways. Like, I'm using this pendant to embellish this bag. You can also use it, like I said, as a pendant, and also a Christmas ornament. It makes a great Christmas ornament. So I will leave a link for that down there in the description bar. So this pendant is similar to what I'm making, but mine is different. The one I'm going to be doing in the video, I will be using 4mm beads here where I use 6. And I'm not going to have any gaps because I'm not making a star. Mine is actually going to be a complete circle. And I'm going to be using more beads, but I just wanted to show you guys this because I didn't realize it until after I made this, how similar it was to this that I made years back. So now I'm going to give you the list of materials that you will need to make this pendant. And by the way, everything here is from the dollar bead box except for the 11-0 bronze miyuki seed beads and the fireline. Just these two things are mine. So you guys have really good chances at making this because all you need from your stash is seed beads and fireline, which is something that everybody pretty much has that makes jewelry. So for the material list, you will need 10 feet of 8-pound fireline. I'm using crystal. You also need a size 10 beading needle. I'm using this 14mm Czech glass table cut bead. This came in the dollar bead box and I just love it. I'm not going to use this hole. I'm going to use this bead like it's a cabochon. You're also going to need 11 7x11mm Czech glass oval beads, and they are this blue color. You will also need 11 6mm Czech fire polish beads, and I think this was called vintage hematite in the dollar bead box. You will also need 22 4mm Czech glass fire polish beads. This is a brass color, and I'm using the one that came, this here is from the dollar bead bag. I'm using the matching I'm using 22 again, 22 beads, 3mm Czech fire polish beads in the brass color. So this is the same color, but this one's 4mm and this one's 3mm. I'm also using 33 3mm Czech fire polish beads, and they are this nebulous navy, I think that's what it's called. They're gorgeous. I'm also using 44 3mm Czech glass beads. These are rondelles. They're really tiny. I'm also using 11O seed beads. This is Miyuki and it's a bronze color. And I'm also using this pretty silk cording that came with a $1 bead box. And if you look closely, there is blue. Do you see the blue thread? So it works pretty nice with this pendant. Now if you want, you don't have to use this silk cording. You can hang the pendant another way. It's up to you. But since it came with the box and I like how it looks, I'm using it. So this is the material list, and remember I always put the materials down there in the description bar below this video, and I will also have a link for my old tutorial where I made this starfish, because it's very similar to this, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay? So I went ahead and I threaded my needle onto my fireline, and I put the fireline pretty far down. As you can see, it looks like it's double threaded, but it's not. I probably slid my needle like 2/3 down the length of my 10-foot piece of fireline, because doing it like this when you're working with such a long piece, it makes your working end easier to work with, because it's kind of shortening your thread. The thing is you can't let the second piece, which is your tail, go into the beading. You have to, when you're working, pay attention to that, and as your tail gets close to your work, you have to slide your needle down towards the end so you don't do two threads side by side into this. So I'm going to start by picking up the 4mm Czech fire polish, my 3mm rondelle, and a 3mm Czech fire polish. Just like this, I'm going to slide these 4 down. So you could see that my tail is double there, okay? And then right there, that's the end of my tail. And then I have like maybe 2 feet down here that I'm going to be working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave an 8-inch tail, because I always like to leave tails to weave back in to reinforce this. So I'm going to measure. Okay. Right here is 8 inches, so I'll hold it here. And I'll pass back through all of these beads a second time. Just like this. Okay. And I'm going to measure this real quick because I want to make sure that I didn't move too much. And it moved just a little bit. It'll be fine though. Okay. So now I'm going to tie a surgeon's knot. This is what I have. I'm going to go over and under one time, bring that down, and then over and under twice and bring that down. Okay, now I'm going to take my needle and pass through this blue 3mm Czech fire polish bead. Okay, then I already got cat hair in this. Can you believe that? I just started. Okay. Well, you know why I probably have cat hair in it? I conditioned my thread with Thread Heaven, and the cat hair always sticks to that when I condition my thread. Okay, so now I have this. So I'm going to hold it. I'm going to pick up one rondelle, one 3mm, and one 4mm Czech fire polish bead. And I'm going to pass through this bead right here. Okay. Just like that. Then I have to pass through these two. Okay, so I have to hold this in place and pull my thread through. Pull it snug, and you should now have this. So I'm going to keep going. But this time I'm going to pick up the 4mm because I'm at the bottom, and then the 3mm Czech fire polish, and then the 3mm rondelle, like this. Then I'm going to go down here, pull this through, and then reposition my needle by passing through these two beads, the 4 and the 3mm. Pass through those. Okay, and then pull this tight. Okay, so you should now have this. Now I'm going to pick up a 3mm rondelle, my fire polish that's a 3, and my 4mm bead. Pass through that bead there, pull this through, go through this rondelle and through the 3mm. Okay, just like that, and pull it snug. So I'm down here next to that bead, which means I have to pick that one up, and then the 3mm, and then my rondelle, and then I'm going to pass through here. Pull that through. So I'm going to keep going doing this until I use, I think it's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 4mm. That's going to be my circle around this table cut bead. So coming out here, I now have to go through these two. Just like this. I'm going to pick up a 3mm rondelle, my 3mm fire polish, and the 4. I'm coming out the top here. I think I'm going to slide these down. Maybe this will help me prevent tangles, and then pass through it. So I have to pass through these 3 beads like that. Yeah, I think that's gonna help the tangling. Okay, so now I have this. So I'm at the bottom again, so that means I have to pick up my 4, my 3, and then my rondelle. Slide this down. Okay. So this time I have to go in through the center, and I have to exit out that 3mm so I can add more beads. Okay. Pull that snug. And I'm coming out the 3mm. I think I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. So I have to pick up the rondelle, 3mm, and a 4. I'll slide. Oh my gosh. It's the second time it fell off. Okay. Then I'll slide these down. Okay. Then I'll go in through the 3mm and through these 3, just like this. Yes, this seems to be helping with tangling. I just have to remember to do it every time. Okay, I have 3 left, so I'm going to keep going. I'm now at the bronze, so I have to go, or brass. I have to pick up the 4, my 3, and the rondelle, slide them down. Okay, I'm at the outer edge. I have to go inside the circle and pass through those 3. Pull that tight. We now have this. Okay, so I have 2 more brass there. I'm going to pick up another rondelle, my 3mm and the 4. Slide these down. I have to go through these 3 beads now. Okay. Pull that tight. So now I have 1 left. So that means I will be closing up this circle. Okay, so it's going to go right here. So I'm going to pick up this one bead, and I'm going to pass through this one right here. But before I do that, I should slide this down so I don't have any tingling. Okay, so there it is. Then I'm going to pass through my 3mm. Pull this all through. And then I have to pick up a rondelle. To close this, I have to pass through this one right here. Just like that. Okay. Now, just want to shape this some. This is going to rest either on or under, like that. And I'm going to have bronze seed beads in between the blue ones, because you see the gaps there? So I'm going to take my needle, and I think I'll do that now. Last time I went back and added the seed beads, but I'm going to try to do it now. So I came this direction, so I will go through this bronze, and I'll go through this blue, and pull the thread through, okay, and through this one here that I just added. So I'll pass through all of those. And now I have to pull everything tight. Okay, so I now have this. So now I'm going to put one seed bead in between all of the rondelles, go around making a circle, and then I'll exit out one of the brass colored 4mm beads. So let's see. I am on this side, and this feels backwards to me because I'm going left, so I'm just going to pass through the hole. Okay, now I'm going to pick up one seed bead at a time and pass through these rondelles. I need another one through the next. Pick up another. Through the next. I love these bronze miyuki seed beads. They are my absolute favorite. If you go back and look through all my videos, this is the seed bead color that I use the most. I really do. I always go for it. Because it's a metallic color, and because it's kind of neutral and it goes with everything. And the best part, it stays this color. It's a permanent finish. It does not discolor, which is awesome. That's what I have so far. So I'm going to keep going all the way around to over here, and I might fast forward this, because this is a time-consuming project. But I'm going to go a little bit faster, and I'll see how it goes. I need another one right here. So we're going to be, after I get done with this, I'm going to make a mirror image of this, but I'm not going to add any more 4mm. I'm going to be working off the 4s I already have, and I'll be adding more rondelles, the 3mm Czech fire polish, and seed beads. Okay, adding the last one right here. I'm going to this rondelle, and to save time, I'll pass through that bead too. Then I'll pull this all through. Okay. Looks great just by itself. Heck, if I wanted to, I can go around, fill the gaps in, and make a pair of earrings. It looks fine just like this. Okay, so now I have to go through a 4mm. I'll just go through this one. Just like that. Now I'm going to start doing these again. So I'm going to do a Czech fire polish, a rondelle, and a Czech fire polished. And I'll slide these down because I don't want to get tangled up. Just like that. I'll pass through this bead and through this blue one that I just added. Not the rondelle, just that Czech fire polished bead. Okay, just like that. I'm now going to go through this one, and this is going to cause, oops, I went in the wrong direction. I was getting ahead of myself. I forgot I have to pick up a rondelle and a 3mm and then pass through this bead and also that one, just like that. Okay, so that's what I have now. I have to pass through this rondelle and through the 4mm, and while I'm at it, I'll also go through this one to save time. Okay, now I have to pull this tight. Okay, so see how it's starting to fold over? We're making like a little pocket for this bead to sit in. So exiting out of here, I'm going to pick up my 3mm not rondelle, my Czech fire polish and then my rondelle. I'm sorry, I'm having a very long day. Coming out of here, I have to go through this one and through that one. You know what? I'm going to slide this down because I also have to go through that blue one. Okay. So I slid that down. So then I'll pass through this one, the 4, and that one. Just like that. Okay, pull this through and wiggle this down and pull it tight. So we should now have this. Coming out the top, this is where I jumped ahead of myself earlier. I forgot to pick up the rondelle and this bead, and I have to go through this one. Then I have to go back up through this one. And then through the rondelle and through that one. So back through the two we just added. Okay, pull that snug. Just like that. Now through the 4. Pull that through. I'm going to pick up my 3mm fire polish and my rondelle. I'm going to pass through this bead. Again, I should slide this down to save time. Slide that down. Okay. And then I'm going to pass through this bead, the 4, and the 3mm Czech fire polished that I just added. See this bead here, how it's getting away? It's making problems when it does that. It makes me feel like I'm getting tangled, but I'm actually not. I have to adjust that thread. and then pull that one down. Once we get this center done, it's gonna get easier because we use up some of the thread, and the thread's getting shorter. Okay, so now I have this. I'm coming out the top. I have to pick up a rondelle and a 3mm. I'm gonna slide these down. I have this. Okay, so I'm going to pass through. Right here's my working thread. I'm gonna take my needle, come around, and go through all of these beads. Pull that through. Don't let that one cause you problems. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna pass through that 4 there. Oh, and I'll show you. This is gonna slide right on in here. And when I was first making this, I thought that this was gonna be too big, but I just kept going and it worked out just fine. Which normally things don't work out like that. I have to take it apart a billion times before it's right and put it back together. So right here I am. I'm going to pick up a 3mm and my rondelle, slide them down. And wonder how similar these 3mm rondelles are to the demi seed beads. Okay, so here's my working tail with my needle. I'm just going to come around, go through this 3mm and the 4 and through the 3 just like that. Pull the needle through, and there's that bead again trying to get away, cause problems for me. Okay, pull that tight, and this is what I have. So I have to pay attention that I don't close this up too much, because then I won't be able to slide this in. Maybe I should do it now. I'll put it in now. Let's see, I have 4 left that I haven't done yet. That's my tail. Okay, so here's my working thread right here coming out of that Czech fire polish bead. I'm going to pick up my rondelle and my 3mm. I'll slide those 2 down. Okay, I'm going to come through this 4 and through all of these beads here. I always need to exit out of that 3mm. Coming through there. Just like this. Pull this tight. And now I have to pass through this bead. Okay. And if you look, it's a little loose right there. So I need to tighten that up. So I'm going to go back and pull on these 2 that I just added, and it tightens that spot up. And then I can grab this thread and pull that tight. Okay, it just fixed it. So I'm going to pick up my 3mm and my rondelle, slide it down. Okay, I have to put my bead back in. It's looking good. Okay, I just added these 2. This thread is my tail. This is my working thread. I'm going to pass through this 3mm here, and it's at a funny angle, so I'm going to go through it like this. Don't go through the rondelle. this down. I'm getting ready to close this up. I have 2 left right there. This is what it looks like so far. Okay, I'm going to pick up a rondelle, my last 3mm, slide these down. I'm going to go through this 4 and through the rondelle, through the 4, the 3, the rondelle, and that 3. Hold on to this and pull the thread through. Bring this down. Okay, and if you look, my thread's getting exposed right there, so I'm just going to tighten it up by doing what I did earlier, grabbing these 2 beads, pulling them tight. It looks great. I'm happy with it. Okay, I'm going to pass through this 4 and through this 3. I'm not going to pull it tight. I have to put my bead back in. I'm going to sit my bead back in. Okay. I have to pick up my rondelle right here. This bead is going to sit right there. So I have to go back through this bead and through this one. Pull it through. Pull it tight. Okay, I have to go back up because I have to add seed beads. So I'm going to go back up through this one. Pull that through. And I'm going to go right. Just like that. And pull it tight. Look at this. Kind of looks like a UFO. Okay, now all I have to do is add my seed beads, and I like this part. 1 seed bead at a time through here. Just closing this shut. There's all these gaps in it. Oops, I picked up 2. Okay, I just need 1. Through here. Pull it tight. It's going to start closing up a lot for us. And once we do all this, we'll have to exit back out the 4mm Czech fire polish beads. You know what, to save a little time, what if I pick up one, pick up another, go through here, and then pick up another, and go through the next. And then pull them all through. There we go. That's looking really good. When I first made this, I did it with Nymo. Nymo is not my favorite, but I use it for practicing when I'm making designs. And it's not my favorite thread because it kind of has stretch to it. It breaks easily. Some people love it. I don't know why, because it's very brittle to me. And if I were to use it in a project, I would have to double it because I just feel it's not strong enough. But whenever I design stuff with Nymo, and then I go use fireline, it doesn't always end up the same because the fireline does not stretch, and Nymo has a slight stretch to it. Okay, adding the last bead right here. It looks amazing. I'm very happy with it. Okay, I'm just going to pass through a few more beads. Let's see. I'll go through a few more and then I'll go down. Okay, now I'm going to go down and out one of the fours. Pull that tight. Looks great. So now we have the center complete. And you can do stuff with this just the way it is. You don't have to keep going. If you want, you could stop right now and maybe make a ring with it. It will be kind of high, but I already have high rings. Thing is that I would like to make the ring band off of those, so it might be sitting up strange. It could also be a pair of earrings if you want. If you have two of those, you can go back onto the dollar bead box and buy more of that bead there that's in the middle, and you can make a pair of earrings. So this is what we have now, and I'm going to get ready to do the outer edge. So now we're going to be working with some larger beads here. I'm going to start with the oval, the 3mm, the 6, the 3, and again the oval. And you want to slide all of these down. These are going to be heavy. Okay, just like that. I'm going to pass through this. I need to zoom in, don't I? I'm too far away. Okay. So I'm going to pass through this 4mm right here, and also I'm going to pass through an oval bead that I just added. Pull through. Okay. Just like that. We're going to do this all the way around. Well, actually, we're not going to pick up two of these at a time. Now we're going to do one at a time. So I'm Xing right here. That means I have to pick up 1 3, 1 6, 1 3, and my big oval bead. Slide it down. Okay, I'm then going to pass through this bead. You have to go through it at an angle in order to get through it. See, like that. I'm going through that one, and I'm also going to go through this one. So through those two. Pull this through. Pull it tight. I'm going to pass my needle back through all of the beads that I just added and reposition it for the next bead. Through this one. And I'm also going to go through this one so I can pick up new beads. Okay? Just like that. Now, since I'm here, I have to pick up the oval bead, because that's the next one, and then my 3, my 6, and my 3. Slide these down. Okay? Don't pass through this gold one. You just want to pass through this oval bead, and then, if you can, pass through this 4mm that you're exiting out of right there. Okay, just like that. Pull this through, and then go back out this bead. There we go. It's looking good. Oh my gosh. I just realized if I wanted to, I could have done it like this. Made a pair of earrings. This would be the bottom. I could also have some seed beads coming down. There's another design right there. That would be really pretty. It's a pair of earrings. Or you could do 3. You do 3 or 4. Let's see what it looks like with 5. So I'm going to do a 3, my 6, oops, 3, and then my oval bead. Slide it down. Go through the next 4mm, and if I can, through this oval one there. Pass it through, and then go through these here. My tail's getting wrapped around my working thread. Okay, and then I have to go through this one. And while I'm at it, I'll go through the 4 next to it. Just like that. You'll have to go through an angle if you want to get through it without going into the next bead. Okay, so there we are. So now let's see, what would it be like as an earring? Well, it doesn't lay right. It's kind of wavy, but you could probably fix it if you went through these and pulled it really tight. You probably have to go through these a few times at the bottom. But it is kind of a heavy earring. So 3 might be the best if you do want to make this as earrings. Okay, I'm going to keep going, making this gorgeous pendant. Exiting out of this bead, I have to add my oval, my 3, my 6, and my 3. Slide it down. Go through this oval bead and through the 4 there. Pull it through. What is my tail doing? Now I'm going to go through this one, and I'm just going to keep going all the way around. And I might fast forward this because this video I know is going to be big, so I might fast forward this part right here. So I just picked those up. I'm going to go through this bead here. My tail is getting shorter and easier to work with. And my tail is now getting caught in it. So I need to slide that down. See that right there? That's my tail. You do not want your tail to get caught. So slide that needle down. Do not want that to get stuck. Because then you have to take it apart and get back to where that was, where it got stuck, and untangle it. So this is what I have so far. I'm going to keep going. My oval, my 3, my 6, and 3. Through these beads here, through at an angle. Now the 3, the 6, 3, and the oval bead. Through this one and through this one. And then through these 3. Through the oval and through the next 4. Okay. Oval, 3, 6, 3. And you might like one side more than the other. That's something you have to pay attention to before we embellish the top. If there's one side you think's prettier than the other, choose the side you like more. That will be the top. I'm going to do a 3, 6, 3 oval bead. I like adding the oval beads on. It's really fun. Through there and through here. And then through these 3. Oops, I skipped the one. Also through the oval bead and through this bead right there. We're going to close this up now through this oval. Pick up the last 3 beads. Just like that. I'm coming out here. I have to go back in through this bead. And then I'm going to go through the 4 again. And then through this one. Then I need to slide my needle down again because I just used up a lot of thread doing that. So we now have this. Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful just like this, but it's too soft. I have to embellish it, and doing that will make it stiffer. It's so pretty. So right now I'm Xing out of this oval bead right here at the very edge, and this is the pattern that I have to pick up. It's 2 11/0 seed beads, the rondelle, a seed bead. This is the 4mm. Then I have a seed bead, a 3mm, and 2 11/0 seed beads. So this is my pattern, and I'm going to slide these down, okay, and I have to take my needle and I'm going to pass back through this bead. I'm only going to be working off these oval beads for now, embellishing the top because they have nice large holes and I can make a lot of passes through them without getting stuck. Okay, so now I have this. This is going to be laying like that. So I have to take my needle and I have to go through these beads here. I'm going to pass through all of them and exit out that blue one, but I might have to come back. So let's see. Okay, now I'm gonna go through these 2. Yeah, I'll turn this around. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to pull this tight. Just grab this bronze colored bead and pull your thread. It should tighten it up. So now we have this. This is going to lay over to the side. Okay, so I have to pick up 2 11/0 seed beads, just like this, and I'm going to pass through this bead right here. The next oval bead, pull it through. Okay, and then I'm going to be going up through this 4mm, but first I have to pick up these beads right here, 2 11s, a rondelle, and 11. So 2 11s, a rondelle, and 1 11. I'm going to pass through these beads right here, the 4, the seed bead, the 3mm, and through those 2 right there. Okay, I'm gonna go through all of these. I always turn, something I don't think I talk about much. When I'm going to pull my thread through, I always turn this in the project that I have to, or in the direction that I have to pull my thread. Okay, so now I have this. So I'm going to be doing this between all of the oval beads, filling in that gap right there, and I'm just going around the ovals. Okay, so I'm coming out up there. I need to pass down through this oval bead. Okay, just like that, and I have to pick up the pattern that I had earlier. So it is 2 11s, a rondelle, an 11, a 4mm, an 11, a 3mm, and 2 11s. Just like that. That's the pattern. Slide them down. I'm Xing out of this bead here. Okay, you can see my beads where they're at. I'm going to pass it back down it again. Okay, just like this, and then I have to take my needle and pass back through all of these beads. I need to exit out of the 3mm Czech fire polish bead, just like that. I gotta get through this 3 right here. Again, lay this down, grab the 4mm that we just added and pull your thread tight. Okay, then pick up 2 11/0 seed beads and pass through this oval bead. Just like that. And now I have to do what we did earlier right here. I have to pick up 4 beads. It's going to be 2 11s, 1, 2, a rondelle, and 1 11. Just like that. I have to pass through this 4, through the seed bead, through the 3, and through the 2 seed beads right there. Pull it through. And again, if you want, you can grab onto this 4, pull it tight, and then I have to pass my needle back down through that oval bead. Okay, so there we go. I have 2 spots done. And this pendant is a little time consuming, but it's very fun to make. Very fun. Okay. Now I have to pick up the pattern again, and it's going to be 2 seed beads, a rondelle, 1 seed bead, my 4mm, 1 seed bead, 1 3, and 2 seed beads. And guys, if I didn't talk to myself as I made this, I would screw up. Because as I was making this, I was watching TV and I kept screwing up. And I realized I had to talk to myself and tell myself what to do. Because I was just getting distracted. Okay, so I went through that oval bead, just like I did earlier. And now I have to pass back through all these beads again. I gotta come out that 3mm. Oh, I got through it that time. Okay. All of those, lay it down, hold on to the 4mm, the brass colored bead, pull it tight, just like that. I'm gonna pick up 2 seed beads, 1 2, okay, then I have to go down through this one, my next oval bead. That's gonna make this go over like that. And then I have to do again what I did earlier. Remember, I had to do here and here. I have to pick up 4 beads. It's going to be 2 seed beads, a rondelle, and a seed bead. So if you're having difficulty doing this, just talk to yourself, basically, is what I was trying to say. And remind yourself of what you have to do. Because if you're just being quiet, it kind of seems to me, if I'm just being quiet and I'm just going along, I screw something up and I add an extra bead or skip one and I have to go back. Okay, that's what I got so far. It looks really good. I'm going to do it one more time with you guys. So again, you want to start by picking up 2 11s, a rondelle, 1 11, okay, and you can look back at what you've already done to see what you have to do next. Then the 4mm, and then an 11, and then a 3mm, and 2 11s. Just like that. Slide those down. I have to go back through this one. See my beads right here? I slid them down right in front of it, so that's telling me that I have to go back through this bead. Okay. And my tail's getting close to my work, so I'm going to slide my needle down. And now I have to pass through all of these beads again and exit out of the 3mm through there. Hold the 4mm bronze bead, okay, and pull your thread tight, and then pick up 2 11/0 seed beads, just like this, and pass down to the next oval bead. Sometimes when you go through a bead and it does not feel like it's a clear hole, you're probably piercing through your thread. So you want to back out and go through it again. Okay, so now I'm here looking back at what I did earlier. I have to add 4 beads, and it's going to be 2 seed beads, a rondelle, and 1 seed bead. Just like this. And I'm going to pass through this 4, the 11, the 3, and through the seed beads. Okay, so look, if you scoot this down, see that? That's the same pattern I pick up when I first start. So I'm going to pull this through. Okay, I have to go back down through this oval bead, pull it tight, and there we are. So now we're ready to add the same pattern again. And one more time, the pattern is 2 seed beads, a rondelle, a seed bead, a 4mm, a seed bead, a 3mm, and 2 seed beads. Okay, right there is your pattern. If you have a hard time remembering the pattern, just look back at what you've already done and it kind of tells you what you have to do next. Okay, so keep going, doing this, embellishing the top. When you come all the way around, I'll show you what to do next. So I just wanted to show you guys, I'm now putting the last one in here, and doing this all the way around is going to be the same. Even closing it is going to be the same. I just put these beads on and I'm coming back through them. I'm Xing out of my 3mm. I have to add my 2 seed beads. So I'm just going to go down the next oval bead like that. And then I have to pick up my 2 11s, the rondelle, and an 11. Go up the 4, the seed bead 3, and the 2 seed beads. Pull it through, and then go down the oval bead. And pull it very tight. So there we go. We now have this. So now the next thing to do is to pass through these 3 beads. The 3, the 6, and the 3. Just like that. I'm going to slide my needle down my thread. And all we're going to do is take and pick up a seed bead and fill in this gap. If you look at the back, there's gaps in between the 3mm. Filling in this gap with 11/0 makes this stiffer because it is kind of floppy right now. So I'm going to fill them in with the 11s. Every time you fill in, pull it snug, pick up another one, pass through 3 beads, pick up another seed bead and pass through 3. Pick up another, through 3 again. And by the way, I do not have a bail that matches this pendant, so I'm going to make my own, and I thought that was a pretty good idea, especially if you guys don't have a bail to match it. Okay, so I'm just putting in an 11/0 seed bead between these beads, and I'll flip it over so you could see the back. So see right here, I'm already halfway around. So I'm just going to keep going doing this, and when I get done, I will show you how to add a bail. Okay, so keep going, filling in the seed beads between all of the 3mm all the way around. So I'm now right here. This was the last seed bead I added. I went through these 3 beads. I'm going to pull this tight, and now what I need to do is flip this over to the back and add my bail. So I'm passing through the oval bead like this, and you have to be careful that this thread does not catch in that seed bead. It didn't that time. Okay, so pull that through. Now I'm going to pick up 15 11/0 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Double check. I got 5, 10, and 15. Now I'm going to go back through the oval bead like this. Okay, and right there is our bail. Now I have to go back to this again because I'm not happy with just one time. I need to reinforce it. And by the way, I'm going to be making 2 bales because 1 bale just is not going to be enough. It's going to make the pendant flip if I just do 1. So if I do 2, it will stop it from flipping. Okay, so I just went through all of those seed beads. I'm going to go back down. Careful not to pass through the seed bead. Okay, pull this tight, as tight as you can. Then when that's tight, I'm going to take the needle and pass through the 4mm right there. And I'm going to go through this one, and I'm not going to make a bail on this one because it's too close to this one and it will still flip. I'm going to go through the next one, and you see that I'm on this side of the pendant. I need to be in the back side, so I'm just going to pass under that seed bead. Now I'm on this side. Now I have to go through these 3 beads. Carefully don't pass through the seed bead. Okay. And then I have to go through this oval bead. Okay, so bend this like that so you can pass through it. Pull the tail through. Be careful not to catch anything. Okay, that's good. And now I'm going to pick up 15 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Let's see. 5, 10, 15. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this oval bead again, which my needle is just dying to go through that 3mm. Don't let it do it. Okay, and then through all of the seed beads again. So looking at my bales now, do you see how there's a gap between them? This is going to prevent the necklace from flipping. If I made another bale right here, it would still flip. They're too close. But because I left the space with 1 bead here, it's not going to flip on us. I always think about that when I make a pendant. Is there a way that I can prevent it from flipping? Because pendants just love to flip. Okay, so I'm passing through the oval bead again, pulling it tight. Now I can go back through all the seed beads, or I can go this way and up, or that way and up. Let's see, what should I do? It's going to take longer to go through the seed beads, but it will reinforce them, so I guess I'll do that. No, wait, I can't, because I have to go back down. That's right, I'll have to add a new thread path. So yes, I have to go through a 4mm. And then up the oval bead. Okay. And then I can pass through a bead. And since my tail is so short, I thought I was going to have more working tail than this. Okay, now I am ready to tie knots. To tie the knots, I'm going to take the needle, go under right here, pass through, make a loop, and go through the loop twice, bring the knot down, and then pass through this bead. I'm going to do 1 bead at a time because my tail is short. So pass through a bead, make a loop, go through it twice, bring it down, then pass through. I'm going to go through the 3mm, the seed bead, and the next 3mm, and then tie more half-hitch knots. So keep going, tying half-hitch knots. With this, as far as you can go, that's what I would do, is tie as many knots as I can, trim it off, and then take your needle and put it on to this thread. Now if you look in here, we tied the knot right there at the 3mm, the knot's right there. So what I would do is take this needle, put it on the thread, go through one of these 4mm, does not matter which, and then go up through the oval bead. And then when you come out the top, go through one of these beads and then tie knots, just like we're doing right now with this one. So you're going to be tying all your knots on the outer edge, just reinforcing the outer edge of the pendant, and then you'll be all done. It's really easy to tie the knots on this. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry made from my videos on my Facebook page and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.